Okay, if you're watching this video, then that means you have done your Jelly Bean data for your class and you have created a line or dot plot in your notebook. So I want you to be aware that my line plot and my Jelly Bean data does not match yours because mine is made up. Because of course I have no way of knowing what your class is going to say. So yours is not going to look like mine. For the purpose of this lesson, I want you to watch what I do, and then I want you to answer it in your notebook based on your data. So the first thing I did is I created a frequency table for the data that I saw because it just helps me organize that information. And then here is my line plot that matches my data. Now, I like to put my information in order alphabetically. That's just a preference because it makes it easier for me to see it. But you see how this is my dot plot. I did a dot plot this time because I did a line plot up here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you answer questions based on a line or dot plot. So again, this is not what you're going to write in your notebook. You're going to write these questions, but you are not going to answer with the answers that I answer. You're going to answer them based on your data. So this says, what was the most popular color? So if I'm looking at this graph and I want to know which one was the most popular color, then that means that has to mean that the most people answered with that color. So when I look at my graph, it's pretty obvious that this one is the tallest or has the most dots. If this were a line plot, it would have the most X's. So for my particular graph, red was the most popular color. I can see that very clearly from my graph. That's the point of a line or a dot plot, is to very quickly allow you to analyze your data or look at your information. The next question says, what was the least popular color? Well, least popular is the opposite of most popular. That means what was the one that was chosen the least? So I'm basically looking for the smallest set of dots or the smallest set of X's. And if you look, it's this one right here, which would be yellow. The next question says, were there any gaps in the data? Well, remember we said a gap is an area where no data appears. If you're doing a qualitative data, you're probably not going to have any gaps. A qualitative data, remember, is data that falls into categories like colors or foods or ball teams, things like that. Quantitative data is number data, and that's where you're going to see gaps in your data more often. So the answer for this one is no, we do not have any gaps in our data. The next question says, how many people were surveyed? So if I want to know how many people were surveyed, then all I have to do is I have to add up the number of dots or X's that I have on each of my categories of data. So for blue, I have 9. For green, I have 11. There were 4 people who said orange. There were 12 people who said red, and there were 3 people who said yellow. So if you need a calculator, you can certainly do that. You're just going to do 9 plus 11 plus 4 plus 12 plus 3, and you see that I surveyed 39 people in this survey. The last question is fairly easy as well. It says, which colors were liked by fewer than 5 people? So since I've already labeled all of my data, all I have to do is look and see which colors were liked by fewer than 5 people. Well, that would be this one and this one. So to answer this question, I would just say orange and yellow. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and stop this video at this point, and I want you to go back to your line or dot plot based on your class data. I want you to copy down these 5 questions, and then I would like you to take just a few minutes and see if you can answer those 5 questions based on the data from your class's survey. Then you can move on to the next video.